Hello YouTube, I'm doing a little bit of work on my 2008 Hyundai Sonata. It had an evap check engine code that came up. It was the P0442, which I think that was the code. It was the one that corresponds with an evap leak. And so I had just recently replaced the fuel filter and the fuel pump assembly because the fuel pump died on this car, and so I had to replace that. So I replaced the fuel filter and fuel pump assembly, and I thought that the evap leak was something I had done there, but that was not the problem, which was surprising to me because the check engine light came on almost immediately after we replaced the fuel filter and fuel pump assembly. So I checked there multiple times and was frustrated. I couldn't figure out what the problem was, and so finally I took the Sonata to a friend of mine who's a mechanic, and he ran a smoke test and did a more complete diagnosis, and we found when he ran the smoke test, there was smoke coming out from under this area back here, which he said is a common thing with these 2008 Hyundai Sonatas, or with Sonatas in general, that you need to replace the filter and canister valve. So it's just located up here. I had to take off this part of this thing of the wheel well. You'd have to take that plastic off, undo some screws, and then you look up there, and that's the fuel canister vent valve. And so that's where when we did the smoke test, it was coming out of here. So I'm going to replace that fuel canister vent valve. And they said the next thing to do if that doesn't work is replace the fuel cap. But in my case, we think the smoke, when he did the smoke test, was coming out of here. And he said these are very common. So these are a very common part to fail in these 2008 Hyundai Sonatas. Mine has about 150,000 miles. It's a 2008, so it's getting older. You can tell there's getting some spider webs and maybe some bugs crawled in there. I don't know, something over time made this part fail. So I'm going to replace this part here today and see if that solves our problem, which it should after the diagnosis that he made. So just to be aware of that, if you have a 2006 to 2009 Hyundai Sonata, he said that he has a 2009 Sonata and he loves the Sonatas. He says they're great, reliable vehicles, but he just recently, like a few weeks ago, had to replace the same exact part in his 2009 Hyundai Sonata. So if you're having evap leak, just pay a mechanic to at least help you diagnose the problem so you can make sure that you're replacing the right part. Because I spent weeks trying to figure out where the evap leak was coming from, and I didn't have a smoke test machine. So for evap leaks, it's tricky to diagnose on your own unless you have a smoke machine and know how to hook it up. And so I would recommend just getting a mechanic. If you're a DIY type of person like me, get a mechanic to at least help you diagnose so you know what you need to do. So this is not going to be that difficult to replace. We're just going to take that out and swap this new part in, and that should solve our problem. So anyway, thanks for watching.